Hi Booktube, it's Connie, and I am here to do a weekend reads. So I'm finishing up a couple books this weekend that I've been working on. One is a book club book. I got a bunch of books from the library that are due, and I've tried to get through in May. And I keep telling myself that I am going to read my own books, and then I keep getting more books from the library. And I just did a book unboxing, so I'm getting books from there. But this is how anal I am. This is my list for 2017, books read and books to read, and this is kind of how I go about picking. I kind of had to look at what I had here, what I had on my Kindle. I was an early adopter to Kindle, and so I've had my Kindle since the very first edition of Kindle, so that was in 2008. And I still have a couple books out here from 2008, but I've been going through and kind of figuring out what I paid for. So this weekend, the first thing, I noticed that I had like 3 Kindle singles. I'm really mad at myself because I'm looking at this and how much I paid for them, and it's so stupid because they're not even short. They're not even a novella. They're like short stories, and I paid like $2.99 for 2 of them, and then $1.99 for one. But I thought, you know what, I can crank these out this weekend, and then I don't have to worry about those because I get a little stressed about all the books I've bought and that are still on my Kindle that I've never read. But the good thing is I kind of went through and I was pretty proud of myself. Most of the prices, I got a lot of books for less than $6. I really didn't pay full price for a ton of books, and when I did, it was usually when I had a gift card, so I still really wasn't paying for them. They were gifts. So anyways, I'm going to try and crank out those 3 short stories. The first one is Waiting for the Taliban, A Journey Through Northern Afghanistan, which I've started. The second one is Lost in Kandahar, and the third one is War Hero, The Unlikely Story of a Stray Dog, an American Soldier, and the Battle of Their Lives, by Stephen Talty. And so I'm going to try and crank those out this probably tonight and get through those. And then for the rest of the weekend, I've got a couple things that I'm reading. For my one book club, we're reading Will Grayson, which is a novel by John Green and David Levithan. And I've never read anything by John Green, but I've heard of his books. David Levithan, I tried to read a book by him last year, and I was kind of in a reading slump, and it just did not work out for me, so I ended up returning it to the library, never checking it back out. So far, I like Will Grayson. I'm actually probably almost done. I'm probably more than 3/4 of the way through, so I'll finish that this weekend. And then my goal is to also try and finish The Trouble with Goats and Sheep by Joanna Cannon, which a couple of booktubers had raved about, really liking this as kind of a coming-of-age novel. I actually had started it a couple weeks ago, and then a couple other books took precedence that they were going to be due back to the library, and this was one I could renew. So I'm still on page 72 out of 350 pages approximately, so I'll finish that this weekend as well. And then those are the things that I definitely want to finish. So those 3 short stories and the Will Grayson. And then I need to start Rebecca, which is by Daphne du Maurier. Lauren from Lauren in the Books has raved about her. And then I didn't realize Lauren was talking about the short story collection The Birds, which I never realized that she wrote the short story The Birds, that of course Alfred Hitchcock made a movie out of. So I might pick that short story collection up later, but like I said, I've got to read my own books. So, and then the other thing I started listening to on, I've got the book, and I'm listening to the CDs, Colson Whitehead, The Underground Railroad. I'm finishing up Will Grayson. This is due, I think the CDs, oh, maybe I just renewed them. I don't recall. Anyways, it's probably something I can renew, or I may have just renewed it. And, but I'll be listening to the CDs in the car on my way to work. And I also teach spin classes Sunday through Thursday, or Sunday through Friday. Monday through Friday I teach at 5:45 a.m. I know it's crazy, but it's a great way to start my day. So anyways, to and from the gym, to and from to my real job. So it's about, you know, almost an hour of being able to just listen to these these books. So audiobooks are a great way to crank out books, and especially if I can just get them from the library for free. So let me check the Underground Railroad. It says the book is due back on the 8th. I think I just renewed it though, of the Underground Railroad, so I think it's not due back until like the 23rd. So yeah, so I'll definitely have next week. And then I also need to start, I bought the audiobook finally. I tried to read this and it was really good, but I started going into a reading slump and I don't know what happened. I was working, like I said, I teach spin classes. So I essentially work 2 jobs. And last year, now I teach 7 spin classes in 6 days, plus my full-time job. Last year, I was teaching at one point 10 or 11 spin classes and then being asked to sub here and there, and it just ended up getting me into, I was so exhausted all the time. I'd pick up a book and just fall asleep. So I had started trying to read The Secret History by Donna Tartt last year, and I really liked it, but I just, like I said, I just kind of got into a reading slump and I was tired all the time, so I sent it back. So I ended up just giving in. I had credits on my Audible account, and I just purchased it because I knew I had liked it. I had probably gotten about 120 pages in, and I knew I really liked it, so I went ahead and bought it, and I got the ebook from the library because I have been listening and reading at the same time. Sometimes I follow along at 2 times the speed, which I'm hoping will help me to start reading faster. I don't know if that makes sense, but I'm hoping, because it's a little bit faster pace than I read 2 times the speed, but anyways, that's my weekend and probably part of next week, and I hope everyone's doing well, and I'll catch you later. Bye, have a great weekend.